Today in the crypto space, we have a sideways market. Bitcoin still at about 28,200, give or take, and Ethereum right around that 1550. The altcoins are not doing much, of course. We have a few dips, a few gainers. However, guys, in today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that could be looking for a nice bullish moves very, very soon. And that project is called THORChain RUNE. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, special welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate that strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Of course, guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, join that Discord. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at what's happening here in the market. Bitcoin going sideways, still going sideways, not doing anything much, guys. Going sideways is the name of the game here for the two heavyweights. Ethereum getting a little bit more volatility overall, but generally speaking, Bitcoin is not doing much. And we see BNB kind of going sideways, XRP kind of going sideways, and a lot of these larger cap altcoins are definitely looking for support at lower levels, but still kind of going sideways. Look at Solana, yeah, kind of going sideways and maybe looking for some hang time here. And if it does roll over, if it does break to the downside, guys, even based on Bitcoin's lead, if Bitcoin does take a bit of a dip, you know, it could be that we do see some of these altcoins continue coming down. The market's not really giving me any decision, you know, whether it's going up or down at the moment. But in the meantime, we are definitely getting short-term volatility. Personally speaking, I am not looking into trading Bitcoin. I'm enjoying the altcoin market right now. You got to admit, that's where the volatility is at. And as a trader, I look for volatility. I look for opportunities for volatility because, you know, in this case, if we go up or down, we're ready to capitalize. We're ready to make some moves. Right now, we see AVAX coming down. A bit of a negative day overall, but just, you know, big picture, still kind of trending sideways. That's the truth, right? So a bit of a red day, but overall a bit sideways throughout the market. Render is still looking pretty good. You know, an upward sloping wedge before maybe we get a rollover, guys. You know, that's pretty much a bearish pattern when we start to see wedges like that are upward sloping. You know, some might argue it kind of looks like an ascending triangle, but it's not really. It's an ascending wedge, so be careful there with render. It could be looking for a bit of a dip very soon, and then a confirmation low, and that's when we're going to start looking for how low it can go. If we get a higher low, I'm interested. If we make a lower low, I'm interested. So whichever dip we kind of get here, I'm interested in render and start scaling in a little bit. Injective is looking pretty healthy today, up approximately 5%. Guys, I was thinking about doing a video on Injective. Let me know in the comment section below if you feel like I should be covering Injective in an up and coming video. But right today, obviously today's video is on THORChain RUNE. RUNE is the ticker. And I thought because, you know, it's getting a bit of volatility, maybe we could definitely look for an opportunity here upon a dip to expect THORChain RUNE to continue to the upside in the immediate short term. So as you guys know, THORChain RUNE, when it moves, it does move. It does very, very well. So we got to expect that is very, very possible in the immediate short term. So let's continue here. We definitely see a few dips here and there throughout the market. Theta network coming down a little bit, and we have Rollbit getting a nice pop to the upside. What do you guys think about this narrative? You know, the gambling narrative. You know, I was talking about this narrative on the Discord earlier on today, and I have a bit of mixed feelings. Maybe that's something that we can talk about tonight in the live stream. Guys, speaking of the live stream, feel free to join me tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, that's a great time and place to make those requests for any projects that you want me to cover, and I'll definitely put them in top priority, okay? So feel free to join tonight at 7:30. Let's continue here. these gold tokens are doing good. Neo coming down, Trust Wallet going a little sideways, maybe perhaps getting a confirmation high, a lower high, not really good right there. Flow rolling over a little bit, and KuCoin not looking good either. Look at this nice rounded top. If it breaks these bottoms, guys, KuCoin is KCS is definitely going to be rolling over and coming down to lower levels. Radix getting a nice pop to the upside, 5%. That's a good sign of strength, guys. We've been talking about Radix, and it's hitting a good level of a triple bottom, let's say, and this is why we're getting a reaction. The risk to reward ratio is absolutely healthy when you see those scenarios, and look at the reaction that we got to the upside, 5% for Radix. We covered it live a couple of times, especially here at the bottoms. I should have done a pre-record, but guys, there's so many projects that I want to cover on a daily basis, but you know, we choose one a day. And what's important, guys, is that if you have the projects that you are interested in, that you let me know. Join the Discord. It's a great community, great opportunity to kind of chime in and let me know what you're thinking about, and I'll definitely include that in one of the videos, in the upcoming videos. Let's continue here. What else do we have? Gala Games coming down again, guys. Unfortunate. Another 2%. Now, it did get a bit of a relief to the upside, went sideways, a bit of a Bart Simpson style retracement, and it's back again to the downside. So let's see what Gala is going to be doing in the immediate short term with regards to support. Is it actually going to get support? And that's it. This is the market. This is the top 100, guys. There's not much happening here. You got to be honest. There are some altcoins, a few altcoins like Robit doing good, and a few other synthetics did okay, you know, like overall is doing okay. At least it's, you know, trajectories to the upside. But give or take, guys, you know, this market is still kind of sideways, and it's still looking a little bit weak. You got to admit, you know, the volume is not really there. The conviction is not there. The overall momentum is not there. So all we can anticipate is, you know, be careful. Risk management is very important, and anticipate that throughout this accumulation phase, a transitionary phase into the bull market, we're going to get deep retracements both ways, both up and down, and this is the opportunity for you to be able to accumulate at the bottom of the range. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin not doing much. Again, like I mentioned, going sideways. We got a bit of a blow off top. We got a bit of a jitter right here, right within this short-term volume gap. I believe that this volume gap right now is acting as a form of resistance. If we can't break above it, guys, it's not looking good. And remember, this green impulsive move to the upside was all based on that ETF news that was fake. Okay, so could we put some validity into this pump? Should we expect a full retracement? To be honest, yes. I don't feel like we should be giving this pump a lot of credit. In fact, given the fact that the ETF was such a bullish, you know, basically bullish news, look at the momentum. Look at what ended up happening. Nothing. It totally retraced, and right now I don't think that we're going to have enough interest in this market to actually get to higher levels, but we need to keep this in tune. We need to be very prepared for any possibility, and of course here on the channel we do prepare for that. Okay, let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Just quickly, again, nothing is changing on the momentum. Still hanging out here. In fact, we got the MACD looking a bit bullish. Okay, you know, nice EMA cross, green histogram bars, but look at this cluster. Okay, so let's assume that it's very possible that we see a smaller cluster of histogram bars, suggesting that we are getting bearish divergence on these higher highs on the price action, and we could finally be getting a bit of bearish divergence on these two tops on the RSI, suggesting that we should be rolling over in the immediate short term, coming back down to about 25k. Guys, if we get back down to 25k right now, it's not looking good for Bitcoin, and of course, you know what I'm going to say, it's not going to be looking good for alts. We're going to get an opportunity to scale in on fire sales, so be prepared. Make sure that you're accumulating some cash on the side for that opportunity. Okay, I'm not going to get into too much detail here with regards to Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin, you know, is not doing much. We just look at it for as a leading indicator to suggest what we should be doing with altcoins, and of course, today's altcoin is all about a RUNE. It's RUNE THORChain. Okay, so let's take a look at that chart quickly. And there's a lot to be said here, to be honest. In fact, I want to get into the 4-day. You guys, you know that I don't trade the 4-day, but I like looking at the big picture in the 4-day, just looking at it. Look what's happening here. We do see a nice retracement. Obviously, a lot of the market is down approximately 95% from its top, if not more. So that's something that we got to consider. We got a nice retracement. Let me get these Fibonacci's away, and you can see that now we're kind of painting a nice rounded bottom. right? It could obviously break its trajectory, its current path, its current, pattern that it's building, but it does look nice and round overall, okay? Now, if we continue with this scenario, it's very likely, it's very possible that we get a bit of resistance right around the zone at about $3.16, give or take. But what I like to acknowledge is that we got the bottom of this volume gap, which we'll talk about in a second, and we have a small little volume gap right here that should get some reactions in the market, okay? Now, once we get there, we do have the 200 EMA. It's going to be the daily. We're going to take a look at the daily in a second, but you can see that this level might be the zone to expect reactions, both bouncing at the bottom of this volume gap and perhaps the top or even bottom of this volume gap, kind of getting a bit of a consolidation period for a shoulder. Now, a handle. Now, guys, this is just forward thinking. It could happen. It may not, but it could. So what we're doing really is preparing for a bit of a rejection around this zone, and let's see what kind of consolidation period we kind of paint once we get there. Now let's get into lower time frames, but before we do that, just quickly look at the daily. The EMA cross here on the MACD, not looking good. This is not looking healthy, okay? And we do see the volume contracting and the RSI overall looking bearish because we're getting a bit of bearish divergence. Remind you, this is the 4-day, okay, guys? We're making higher highs on the price action on these two impulsive moves to the upside while the momentum is downwards sloping. Let's look at this. You can see that these two tops are downward sloping while the momentum is still moving up right here, okay? So that is class A bearish divergence on the 4-day on these two impulsive moves. Does it mean that we're going to roll over real quick? It doesn't. What it does mean is that expect a continuation to the downside as long as the 4-day is pushing down. But it's bigger picture, right? What could happen within the day, in the daily time frame, or within the 4-hour time frame could bring us a bit of price action, a bit of volatility in the short term to trade up and down, right, in between the 4 days. So let's look at the daily here for a second. You can see that the daily, the momentum is finally trying to get into oversold conditions, and for me that's not a good thing as far as us being able to hold up here. We have the 200 daily EMA. You can see this orange line. I know my TA right now is a bit of a mess, but I don't want to get rid of this. So you know what I'm going to do? Temporarily, I'm going to make this a very radical color. Let's make it maybe red. Sure, let's leave it red for now so it's not so defined. You can see that the price action is coming down, and it is trying to hold up against this 200 EMA on the daily, 200 daily EMA, which is the purple line. It's trying to hold up above it. If we break below it, we got to use volume gaps, and to be honest, I like using volume gaps, and the volume gaps are very confluent right now with that 200 daily anyway. If you look at it, it's pretty close by, right? And as the price action unfolds and consolidates, it's very likely that the 200 EMA kind of flattens out as well, giving us a little bit more confluence with the top of the volume gap, which is right here at about $1.36. This is where we could get support, and if we don't, we can fall right through and hit the bottom of this volume gap at about $1.17. At $1.17, we have some choices to make. Why? Because that's our first zone to potentially look for buy the dip opportunities, and it looks very confluent with the fact that the RSI is trying to get oversold as well. So by the time it gets oversold, it's very likely that we see the price action hit this area, and once it gets to this area, you have to make some critical decisions fundamentally. Are you fundamentally bullish? If you are, this is the time to start DCAing and building a position, okay? Over time, you should be DCAing, looking for good levels of support, and dabbling in and accumulating until you can see the overall big picture continue to the upside, right? Now, the overall thesis is based on the fact that we are creating a pivot point. If we move back here for a second, you can see that we were getting bullish divergence, and it's a lot clearer. Especially everything is a lot clearer in higher time frames. So you can see lower lows on the price action, and pretty much up until here, we're making a double bottom, getting a bit of a momentum shift to the upside, and then we come down and try to make another lower low, and we did. And you can see overall things are looking like this price action is trying to get a confirmation low. The next impulsive move is going to be called our confirmation low, which should be a higher low if we're going to get bullish. We want a higher low. Why? Because then we're going to make a shoulder. Let me get my pen marks out. A little bit of a shoulder here, ahead, right down here, and then a shoulder right around here. And if that were to happen, we can see that there's a bit of confluence here for that support. We need this support right around this area to give us that confidence that, yes, big picture, again, big picture, this could be an inverse head and shoulder type of formation. Okay, let me get some of these pen marks out of the way so we can clean this up. And then again, over time, we're building a position, right? So back into the daily, you can see that these two tops right here, 1 and 2, are very important. Those two tops are the biggest level of resistance, and that's why I have this horizontal here. That's why we have a little bit of a volume gap, because we didn't actually break to those levels yet and fill it up with volume, with supply and demand. If you look left, we have straight down price action, pretty much straight up and down, and we didn't really fill this up with a lot of conviction yet, a lot of volume. So what do we have here? An empty space, and usually we do get a bit of a reaction on the empty space. So that's why I'm saying, if we get back up here, maybe you want to DCA out, take a bit of profit. Get back here, take a bit of profit. If we get here, take a bit of profit. But ultimately, what you want to see is what happens after this consolidation, because in this consolidation, we might pick up enough bullish bids here at the bottom to get an impulsive move to break out of this cup and handle formation, which should, statistically speaking, break out bullish eventually. Okay, so what we're trying to do is play the time frame. So far, we're looking at the 4-day and the daily. The daily showing us further continuation down. Be patient, because again, we can play the 4-hour within the daily. Now we're bouncing around from time frames, so be careful here, because that's one of the blunders that a lot of new traders get affected on, is bouncing around too frequently on different time frames. Okay, so be careful. Right now, what I do see, based on the price action, based on what we're seeing here, we're trying to leave oversold conditions, which is a very healthy thing to see, right? Good for entries. Now, based on this back test, right where we are right now here on the RSI, you can see that the momentum came down and back test the oversold scenario. Now, also the price action could be backtesting, giving us a confirmation low, a higher low. And in this case, we also look at the MACD. The MACD could be getting an EMA cross right now, and we could be getting a set of green candles very, very soon. So be careful here, because we could be looking for a bullish move to the upside where we are right now as well, based on lower time frames. So based on lower time frames, guys, honestly, I would be looking at DCAing all within this area. All within this area between the red and the yellow, scatter a few buy orders, build a small position, because then ultimately on the daily, we're going to be looking for take profit. And the perfect place for taking profit is between this red arrow and, to be honest, within that arrow and this arrow, bottom of the volume gap right here. And I'll show you that volume gap in a second. Let me put another red arrow in here just to make it clear that, you know, DCA in, DCA out is perfect. What we're trying to do is capitalize on a move from this area to this area. Okay, that's a huge move. Now, if we look at it from a price action perspective, let's say we can DCA right into here and that we can DCA out right into here. That's 100% gains, guys. That's a 100% move. Now, 100% move means that you have a lot of options. Number one option that should be on your list as a trader is taking half on the double. You double your money, take your initial investment out, guys. That way, the rest of your position is risk-free. And if it continues going, great. But if it comes down, at least you have your initial investment out. And you can basically use that initial investment, that capital, to be dollar cost averaging back in on a dip, or looking for other projects, other opportunities within the market. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right now. If we get to this zone, it's looking good. But then hold on, what do we have above? Above is where the magic really happens. And I like to highlight this as a bull run opportunity. If you look at it, if you look at all the volume, all the supply and demand that we got here, it's huge. It's a lot in comparison to what we got above. Above, we have very little support. If we break through these zones, this area, more or less, it's pretty much smooth sailing to the top. Yes, we'll have retracements along the way. Yes, we'll have Fibonacci retracements, of course, Fibonacci extensions being hit and then pullbacks. Basically, we'll have profit taken along the way, 100%. But the reality is that it's a lot easier to break through all of this than it is this. Why? Because there's a lot of supply and demand here. And what that ultimately means is that if we break to the upside and finally maybe backtest this area, it could and should act as a good level of support. Okay, so this is why we're kind of highlighting volume. We're highlighting the structure that is being built here based on the potential cup and handle. And we're highlighting the fact that the momentum is trying to build a level of support here for us so that we can DCA right at about $1.12, give or take. $1 is a nice psychological number to expect a bit of support. all right, guys, this is good. THORChain Rune looking really bullish. Guys, I'm live tonight at 7:30 Eastern where we talk about crypto news and price action. Feel free to join tonight. Of course, if you want to follow me in the socials, the links are in the description below. And of course, that Discord, guys. The Discord is a great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.